Today on the Daily Scoop podcast from the Scoop News Group. OPM Director Scott Kupor says a fully automated federal retirement system is feasible in the next 6 months. And the Department of Energy announces $625 million to continue quantum research center development. It's Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. Welcome to the Daily Scoop podcast, where you'll hear the latest news and trends facing government leaders. I'm the host of the Daily Scoop podcast, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for joining me. And now let's dive into the day's top headlines. As the Office of Personnel Management makes progress toward a long-pursued goal to move the government's paper-based retirement system into the 21st century, its director said a fully automated process is about 6 months away. OPM Director Scott Kupor said in an interview with FedScoop, quote, "That's not going to happen overnight," unquote. But Kupor said he believes the agency can get there within 6 months for sure. The Human Capital Agency hit a milestone in May with the launch of its online retirement application, operationalizing a years-long development effort and marking the end of paper file submissions. Yet, behind the scenes at OPM, there's still much work to do to bring about a truly automated process. Though the application submissions are now online, humans still currently check the information coming in to make sure they've been completed properly and manually key in information into a calculator in a, quote, "significant number of cases," unquote, Kupor said. That introduces a huge amount of delay in the system, the OPM director explained, and is something that the agency is working to fix. The aim is to ultimately have a system where the retiree, human resources, and the payroll provider all submit their information online and route that package electronically, not to a person in the agency's retirement services division, but to a digital file system that can fill in the application and do the calculations, Kupor said. Under that future process, he explained, all individuals at OPM will be doing is reviewing and spot checking. The simple target of what OPM is trying to do with retirement services, Kupor said, is to go paperless as quickly as possible. While many priorities across the government have changed from the Biden to Trump administrations, the modernization of the federal retirement system has remained a primary goal, getting early interest from the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Despite an influx of retirements under the Trump administration's incentivized programs to get workers to leave federal service, and now a long government shutdown, OPM is making incremental progress toward that goal. Now in other news, the Department of Energy is refreshing its investment in 5 research centers focused on quantum information science after 5 years of operation. In a Tuesday announcement, DOE said it's putting up $625 million to keep all of the existing National Quantum Information Science Research Centers going for up to 5 more years, matching the same investment that launched those centers in 2020. Darío Gil, Department of Energy Undersecretary for Science, said in a written statement, quote, "President Trump positioned America to lead the world in quantum science and technology, and today a new frontier of scientific discovery lies before us. Breakthroughs in QIS have the potential to revolutionize the ways we sense, communicate, and compute, sparking entirely new technologies and industries," unquote. The centers were authorized by Congress and signed into law in 2018 during the first Trump administration as part of the National Quantum Initiative Act. Since the first January 2020 investment from DOE, which envisioned 2 to 5 multidisciplinary quantum initiatives, centers led by its Brookhaven, Argonne, Lawrence Berkeley, Oak Ridge, and Fermi National Laboratories have been established. According to a DOE press release, the work of each center includes supporting science that has disruptive potential across quantum computing, simulation, networking, and sensing, as well as establishing community resources, workforce opportunities, and industry partnerships. Renewal of the centers comes at a turbulent time for federal investment in scientific research. Under Department of Government Efficiency initiatives, the government has slashed funding at agencies like the National Science Foundation and the Environmental Protection Agency. Even similar initiatives have lost funding elsewhere. One of NSF's AI research institutes, which began under the first Trump administration, had its funding pulled recently, putting its work in limbo. But the Department of Energy reaffirmed the administration's support for the centers in its Tuesday release, noting that the renewed funding advances President Trump's directive to restore American leadership in quantum science and technology. For more news at the intersection of the federal government and technology, make sure to visit FedScoop.com. Thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Scoop podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you've already rated the podcast on your platform of choice, thanks so much. High ratings and good reviews of the show help more people to find it. The Daily Scoop podcast is a production of the Scoop News Group in Washington, D.C. Adam Butler and Carlin Fisher help put the show together, and the entire Scoop News Group team contributes. We'll be back tomorrow with more top headlines. Until then, I'm your host, as always, Billy Mitchell. Thanks so much for listening.